So the United States Congress agreed to give Ukraine additional billions of military aid. And again, I've been ranting about this for a long time. The United States does not have a strategic interest in Ukraine. The weapons manufacturing industries certainly have an interest because they're making a pile of money on all these wars, these unnecessary wars. But they want to effectively, they're extending the conflict. They're just keeping the conflict going. In the process of this, Ukraine has been targeting Russian energy infrastructure, which in turn is also making energy costs go up. And what's the goal of this war? Certainly, Ukraine by itself cannot win this war, and no country is really willing to officially put ground troops to face the Russians. The risks are obvious there. But the goal seems to be to tie up Russia. Basically, is to try to harm Russia through the destruction of Ukraine. That's effectively it. And if I were in Moscow, if I were in the Kremlin, I'd be looking at this. Of course, I'm not privy to exactly what numbers they're seeing, but I would think that in the Kremlin right now, and I know there's discussion of this, they're probably thinking, okay, this war has gone on long enough. It's destroying our infrastructure. We need to go in and we need to end it. I thought that's what they were going to do years ago. And I think what happened is that the technology, the offensive capability outpaced the defensive capacity for people to, similar to World War I, where there were tanks, machine guns, but there weren't defensive mechanisms against that. And so then people were in the trenches and the war was basically stagnant. And it's kind of similar to that. What's going on in Ukraine and Russia right now is something similar to World War I. But if you're on the Russian side, you're thinking that this needs to be ended pretty quickly here, because the West has been slowly escalating this conflict. And again, it doesn't serve it does not serve the strategic interests of the West, other than if you were interested in trying to destroy Russia. And I've already said in another video, the destabilization of Russia is actually a bigger threat than a powerful Russia, because Russia has nuclear weapons, and you don't want those nuclear weapons getting in the hands of rogue elements, which is a possibility if Russia disintegrates. So really what should happen is, if necessary, maybe a containment policy, but really an economic partnership with Russia. And then there's a security partnership where there's some kind of a deal, kind of like there was during the Soviet Union, where both countries, even though they had very, very different ideological takes on the world, were working together in such a way that there wasn't a major world war. And since the collapse of the Soviet Union, it seems like things have actually gotten less stable, not more stable. So, I think those policies would make a lot of sense. But of course, you have an elite that want to exploit people by selling weapons, trying to exploit the resources of Russia. And they want to spread their ideology, which they haven't really been able to do in Russia. And I think that's really what this is all about. But anyway, not the right move. I'm a bit disappointed, again, in our Congress, but there's nothing really new about that. So, I'm only hoping the war would end soon, but it doesn't look like it.